Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're trying to get our heads around something really fundamental to our economy, fiat currency. We all use it, right, every day.
Mm.
But why does this stuff, this paper or, numbers on a screen, actually have any value?
It really is a paradox, isn't it? Fiat, that's Latin, means it shall be done. It's money because the government says it's money. Simple decree. But, and this is the key, its actual power, its purchasing power, hinges entirely on something else. Fiducia. Trust. Public faith.
Trust. Okay, so unlike, say, gold coins, there's nothing intrinsically valuable backing it up.
Exactly. It's valuable purely because we collectively trust the government, the central authorities, to manage it properly, to keep its value stable, more or less.
So if trust is so central, maybe we should quickly touch on when we shifted away from something tangible. We know the gold standard was restrictive, but why did that become such a problem?
Well, the main issue is that finite gold supply. It really tied the government's hands. Think about it. A deep recession hits, or you need to finance a major war effort. With gold, you can't just easily increase the money supply to stimulate the economy or pay for things. You're limited by how much gold you physically have.
Right, you can't just print more gold. So it traded, stability in exchange rates for internal economic instability, like higher unemployment.
Precisely. That inflexibility became politically difficult, which eventually led to the big break.
After World War II, we had Bretton Woods linking currencies to the dollar and the dollar to gold. But that didn't last forever.
No, it really couldn't. By the 60s, the U.S. had pumped way more dollars out into the world economy than it actually had gold in Fort Knox to back them up. The system was creaking. It was basically unsustainable.
And the breaking point was the Nixon shock.
August 15th, 1971. That's the key date. Nixon went on TV, announced the U.S. would no longer exchange dollars for gold held by foreign governments. Just cut the tie unilaterally.
Wow. So that killed gold convertibility.
Pretty much overnight. And by 1973, most major economies had moved to floating exchange rates, currencies finding their own value against each other.
Meaning money was now backed purely by the government's promise, the full faith and credit.
That's it. Fiat currency, in its purest form, was born globally.
Okay, so full faith and credit it is. But here's where things get maybe a bit counterintuitive based on what many people think. If money isn't tied to gold, does the central bank just print all of it? Is that the main tap?
That's probably the biggest misconception we need to tackle. While the central bank plays a crucial role, the vast majority of money in circulation, especially the digital kind, it's not created by them.
Really? So who then?
It's created by regular commercial banks, your high street bank, through a process called endogenous money creation.
Endogenous, meaning it comes from within the system. How does that work? We usually think banks lend out money people have already deposited.
Right. That's the old textbook myth, yeah. What actually happens when a bank gives you, say, a mortgage? They don't check their vault for spare cash, they just credit your account. Click of a keyboard. A new deposit is created at the same time the loan is created.
Wait, so the act of lending is the act of creating money?
Exactly. Loan creation is deposit creation. The money supply expands based on how much people want to borrow and how willing banks are to lend. It's decentralized.
So it's less about the big government printing press and more about thousands of individual loan officers making decisions every day?
In large part, yes. That dictates the bulk of the money supply's expansion and contraction.
Okay, that's quite a shift in perspective. This idea of potentially vast money creation then leads us to modern monetary theory, MMT. They argue governments that issue their own currency, like the U.S., can't really run out of money, financially speaking.
That's the core claim of MMT, yes. If you issue your own currency, you can always create more to pay any bills denominated in that currency. You can't go broke in dollars if you're the one who creates dollars. So money is nominally abundant. No financial constraint.
Nominally abundant. Okay, but that sounds, it sounds too good to be true. There has to be a catch, right? Where's the real world limit?
The limit isn't financial. It's physical. It's about real resources. The government can print infinite digital dollars, sure, but it can't print infinite doctors or engineers or tons of steel or barrels of oil. Real wealth goods and services is scarce.
Ah, okay. So the constraint isn't the amount of money, but what that money can actually buy in the real economy.
Precisely. If the government or the banking system creates money much faster than the economy's ability to produce actual stuff, well, you know what happens.
Inflation. Too much money chasing too few goods.
Exactly. That's the real ceiling, the inflationary ceiling. Push past that and the value of the currency collapses. Hyperinflation is the extreme example. That's where the fiducia, the trust, breaks down completely.
So wrapping this up, Fiat money is this constant balancing act. It's created by decree, the fiat, but its value depends entirely on public trust, the fiducia.
And managing its supply prudently, keeping it scarce enough relative to real goods and services, is key to maintaining that trust.
Which brings us to a final thought for you, the listener. If our whole global system now rests on this full faith and credit, on the perception of prudent management, what happens if that faith starts to erode? If people lose trust in a major government's ability or willingness to control inflation, what does that mean for everything? Something to think about.